My dad had an old saying from his time living on Dyckman in 1990s New York City: "You'll never see a cab go above 125th Street." Now, whether or not this is objectively true 100% of the time, there is a general consensus that you do see less taxis and related services in areas that have lower incomes, less population density, and less attractions. North of 125th Street represented to those drivers at the time who were influenced by racist perceptions of certain neighborhoods as a no-go zone that could potentially be dangerous. Fast forward 30 years later, and a new form of transportation technology has completely overtaken the market: rideshare applications like Lyft and Uber. Uber, Lyft, and other transportation network providers, or TNPs, are reshaping urban mobility with their freelance drivers. They're often lauded for their convenience and lower, if not predatory, pricing compared to traditional taxi services. But the question remains: does the gig economy perpetuate the same inequities in service that we see in the traditional economy? Now, Uber and Lyft have been pretty opaque about their pricing strategies, but spatial data can give us a sense of how different neighborhoods are being served. Using census data and data from the city of Chicago, I investigated how different areas were being served by TNPs, controlling for variations in population. Four main findings reveal a lower quality of service for marginalized communities. You'll see higher fares, higher rates of cancellations, lower rates of shared rides, and trips taking longer for drop-off locations that have lower levels of income, higher levels of poverty, and are less white. As you can see on the graph to your left, or on the map rather, the main reason for this is because of the structure of the city itself. When you have massive inequity and segregation, then those factors are going to be replicated within services. On your right, you see that the line graph tells us that as median income increases, decreases, fare actually increases up until around the $11 mark, which represents the majority of rides. Now, as long as there's this intense urban segregation and people in marginalized communities are excluded from life in the city center, then transportation will always be more onerous and expensive for these groups. I detailed three policy proposals rather, in my paper for this issue. More public transportation, private-public cooperation that could incentivize drivers to go into certain areas, as well as tackling poverty and inequity from the source. Also, we can't forget about supporting drivers during these times because they're so disadvantaged by the system as it is. In conclusion, transportation and access to transportation cannot be optional. It is a human right. Thank you.